Hello again, everybody. It's Jan Monahan for Wrapping with Jan, and it is Wednesday, and I promised you a washi tape Wednesday tutorial, but we are very quickly coming up on Black Friday. I don't know why they call it Black Friday. It should be Green Friday with all the money flying around. Anyway, and you're going to need to be, and those of you who don't want to use a gift bag like I usually do and want to wrap their presents, this is the best contraption. I don't even want to say that isn't a nice word. This is the best tool to use when you're building a bow. Now there are two types of bow builders on the market. One is the Bowdabra. This is the one I prefer. There's also another one called Easy Bow, and it looks a little bit like a yardstick, and there's assembly required, and it's made out of wood, and if it gets wet, it warps, and you can't put it back in the box, and it takes up a lot of room, and I just prefer this one. Okay, enough said. Let's get started. Very quickly, we're going to take a look and see what comes in here. We've got the Bowdabra itself. Woo! There we go. Okay. We have the Bowdabra itself, along with the Bowdabra wand. We've got, now the wire I have here is gold. I believe it comes in silver if you prefer it. But this is very lightweight, very strong Bowdabra bow wire. It comes with a little how-to booklet, and for those of you who are who learn by reading a book, this is good. But those of you who are like me and a visual learner, this is the best way to go. It's the Bowdabra CD. Pop this in here, watch it a couple of times, and you'll be a pro. All right. The way I was introduced to Bowdabra was I worked at Michael's, and they asked me to demonstrate this this little tool, and I wasn't quite sure, and I played around with it for a little bit and watched the CD, and it got to the point that every time I demoed it, we sold out. So yeah, this is a good little tool to have. All right, ribbon. Make sure it has wire. If you don't have wire, you're gonna have a kind of a droopy looking bow. I've got two widths here. They kind of look the same, but they're different widths. This width is 1.5 inches. Can you see that? 1.5 inches. And then this width is it 2.5? Yes, 2.5. And this is okay. This is okay. It will still make a nice bow, but it really belongs on a smaller package. You put it on a bigger package, and it's just going to look very anemic. So we're going to pretend that I've got a big package here, and let's get started. Doesn't matter which brand you buy or how much you pay. The thing I like to do is towards the end of the season, when stuff's on sale, that's when I go and buy most of my ribbon. And I've got a special bin that I store this in, and I know I drive people crazy, but that's just what I do. Anyway, okay. First thing, take the Bowdabra wand out of here, and we need to take, where's the end of this? There we go. We need to take a rather long length of Bowdabra wire, and we're going to wrap this, let's see, we're going to double it, and tuck it under. Now, some people I know, they like to tape it under. I don't have time to mess with that. Anyway, okay. I'm going to make a 3-yard bow, and I don't generally measure. I just kind of do a 3 arms length here. And for the purposes of this tutorial, which is how to send your already wrapped package without smushing the bow, because we've all gotten packages in the mail that have those awful you buy the bag of bows for 99 cents. They're made by a machine in China, and they smush really easy and they don't bounce back. And about this time you're saying, well, Jan, how do you really feel about it? I do not like those. So anyway, let's get started. There's a couple things you need to remember when you're working with the Bowdabra. If you have a one-sided bow, like we do, just decorations on the one side, design on the one side, make sure the design side is always facing up. And you put it in, you can fold it in half or just stuff it down there, it doesn't really matter. And the secret is to turn it. And turn it all the way, twist it. There we go. And I'm going to make small loops this time. I think a bow looks better when they have an odd number of loops on each side. So let's see if I can make 5 out of this. And I'll do this as quickly as I can. And I twisted it again. No! Getting tangled up. There we go. And if you are a precise person, we can measure, make sure they're both measuring. That's about 2.5 inch loop. This might be a little longer. Oh, okay. I always just kind of eyeball it. I've used this so much that I know what's going on. Maybe the first couple of times you use it, you might want to have a ruler or some kind of measuring device, and then you can have an exact number or exact measurements. All right, and then twist it. And twist it again, and as you can see, the printed side of the ribbon is facing up. And this is 3. And remember to twist it. Even if you have the same, if you've got a double-sided ribbon and you've got the same design on both sides, it's still better to twist it. You get a fluffier bow than if you don't. So, important safety tip, always twist. All right, what are we working on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this will be the last set of loops. Okay, here we go. Now, I want to make sure that I've got the right number of loops on each side, because we don't want it to look unbalanced. All right, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Okay. Okay, this is when the Bowdabra wand comes in handy. You can do it horizontally or vertically. And now, this is where the Bowdabra wire comes in place. I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to run this through the loop here, and I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. And like I said, this is pretty strong. And I suppose if a man tried this, he'd probably break it, but my hands aren't quite that strong. So, and I take one side going one direction and one side going the other, and wrap it around. There we go. All right, double knot it. I don't care whether you use a square knot or a granny knot, or those of you who like sailing probably know more knots than I do, but I just like a square knot. And I'll quick show you a little trick. If you just want to have angled tails, all you need to do, like that, and you can have the angle going the other way, doesn't matter. But if you want a dovetail, you fold the ribbon in half, and you start from this folded side, and you cut at an angle and go to the top. And voila. You know, you don't have to measure, you don't have to draw a dot, you don't have to do all that kind of thing. All right, now we're finished with the Bowdabra, and now it's time for us to go to work. It's time to do the fluffing. Here, let's make these tails a little bit more manageable. All right, there we go. And the reason I am making this tutorial is that, like I said, a lot of people have called in and said, you know, I sent this beautiful bowed package to Uncle Charlie and Aunt Sue, and the bow was smushed when they got it. And you know, even packing peanuts, if they put them in there tight enough, it's going to smush the bow. And a lot of people don't know, you know, they get it and they'll say, oh, I'll bet that was a nice bow. Well, we're going to make sure that we do have a nice bow. So, all right, we have the bow, and it's all nice and fluffed up. And we're going to put it on our package. And you could either, tie it on there, glue it on there, doesn't matter. And now comes our secret weapon, not to get it smushed while in the mail. And the the UPS people who package this stuff up, they don't take the time, and it really isn't their responsibility. All they do is pack it and send it. It's going to have to be your responsibility to make sure this thing gets to its recipient in pristine order. So, all we've got here, and everybody's got these, they are bathroom tissue, toilet paper rolls, whatever you want to call it, and I've cut these in half. You can also use paper towel rolls, but these are sturdy enough that if you don't, add a whole bunch of newspaper or packing peanuts, this should come back in, it should arrive in perfect order. So what I do is I take these and I put them in the loops. And I know some of you, would probably be measuring the toilet paper rolls and make sure that the loops are of an adequate size so that they would fit in there. But I don't do that. It's just kind of well, let's wait and see what happens. I suppose these, if you remember back in the 60s when the ladies would use like foam rollers, if you've got any of those hanging around, they might work. But these are a lot cheaper. So anyway, I'm going to get the last one in there. And, well, okay, I'll put this one down here. Anyway, there we go. All right, then that goes on your package. And if you're using newspaper, the newsprint will rub off on the bow. So if you have to use newspaper, put a piece of saran wrap over this, or put a baggie over it, whatever, and make sure you've got the cardboard rolls in there, and you have a perfect bow, and it will arrive in perfect order. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know, and I'll answer anything I can. And this is Jan Monahan for Wrapping with Jan, and I'll be back next week, and I'll have some another washi tape Wednesday. Thank you for watching. I know you've got a lot of things that you could do with your time, and I appreciate you spending some of that time with me. Thank you.